Let's go.
All right, so before the break, the question was how? Like, how does one set themselves up for relationship, to be ready for relationship, right? So what I did, I basically broke it down into 5 steps because I like to make things real easy. But it ain't easy, but I'm gonna make it where you can listen to it, take the notes, and it's 5 steps. The first one, self-love. Yeah. If you don't love yourself, you cannot expect somebody else to come in and fix all the stuff that's broken.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right? That is not their job. Your job is to get fully connected to you and fall in love with you. Because if you can't love you, then you won't allow anybody else to fully love you.
I love myself so much, it's ridiculous. I really do. It is.
So you got step 1.
I got it.
You got step 1, okay? All right. The second step is purpose. Okay, you need to know your purpose on the planet. Why are you here? Because if you don't know why you're here, then it's very easy to get aligned with someone else who doesn't know why they're here. And then all of a sudden, both of y'all lost. Yeah. And if you're looking for him to lead you and he doesn't know why he's here, then you're lost. He's lost. You're mad because he's lost, but you were lost when you met him. Yeah. So the first thing is to self-love. Second, purpose. What is your purpose? Why are you here? And then get aligned with that purpose. Start doing work aligned with that purpose. Live aligned with that purpose.
I can say that this is not only for those over 40. These are for
everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. Everybody.
Absolutely for everybody.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's critical.
Absolutely.
Critical.
Everybody.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Les, I know you probably have a few comments, so please chime in. Okay. The third one is then you set an intention. Mm-hmm. All right, so now that I'm in love with myself, I know my purpose, then I get real clear about my intention. When I met Pam, the first date, I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Whoa, this is it. Mm-hmm. And the reason I knew that is because, one, I could see that she would align with my purpose, and she fully met my intention for what I wanted in a woman. I had conditions of satisfaction. Mm-hmm. I knew what I was looking for. I was very intentional. It wasn't I saw in the corner and I hit the horn and she let me out.
Well, let me ask you this. Prior to you meeting your wife, Pam, were you looking for your wife prior to Pam?
Yeah. Prior to Pam, I had entered into a mindset where it was like, you need to get married. Ernest talked about why he got married. I knew I needed to get married because in order for me to fully fulfill my purpose on the planet, I needed partnership and help. And it was so clear to me. And I can see that now, all this time, I've been having a good time single, but now I feel like I'm hobbled all of a sudden. And I need that woman in my life. But here's the thing. I love myself. I love myself. And I knew my purpose. So then I got real clear about what I was looking for. I got intentional. All right, this is what I'm looking for. And it takes some self-discipline. I went on some dates, and at 11 o'clock at night, I got invited up for coffee. Right. I'm like, okay, I could do this, but this could mess up the search. Yeah. So
we sabotage ourselves.
Yeah. So let me keep moving.
Let me interject this. I just had this conversation on my Facebook page not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
What?
It's all about context. Like I said, I gave you a time, right?
Right. Now,
it's about context. But go ahead, Elsie.
And I was going to say, a young lady asked me that. She said, well, I was going to invite him over. And I said, well, then you can be running a few minutes late and invite him in before you leave. But when you invite him at 11 on the back end, there's some assumptions made.
Yeah. I mean, my assumption was, that, I ain't about to drink no coffee at 11 p.m. So.
But even if you weren't, the point is, I think what you're getting to is really around the context. To the point, when it's 11 p.m., and regardless of what time, if you go to bed at 10, 11, 12, it is the time. It's bedtime. So that's what covers that more is meant. I think a woman can invite a man to her home. I think it's how she does it. She can invite him for drinks between 5 and 7, and then escort him out. They can have dinner. He can come by earlier. But I think it's the late night that has this assumption. Exactly, and you're a man, and how I think they think, and we may think that way as well. But I think women have to be careful, the situation they put themselves in. And my experience has been people treat you like you let them.
Absolutely.
And what you permit, you promote.
Yep.
So you set it up. So whatever you're getting is what you ask for.
And to be fully fair, right? Within 2 weeks of dating, my wife and I, we were looking for a movie. We couldn't find good movies. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. And she was like, well, why don't you just come to my house? And at first I was like, no. Then I'm like, all right, cool. And we sat on the couch and talked for 2 hours.
You all were exclusively dating?
No, we had met for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay.
2 weeks in. But we sat on the couch and talked. And then it started getting late. I said, I'm hungry. And then I learned something else about her, that she could cook. She's like, well, I can throw something together. What?
Right.
Because I'd already assumed that she couldn't. But I could throw something together, and that's when I really fell. And by the time I walked up out of there, I was gone. You hear me? I was gone. I called my brother like, this the one.
But I bet you that it was because you were ready to get married and you were looking for your wife.
I already said that. Yeah.
I would bet that you had some women prior to her that could cook. That was probably pretty.
But they didn't align to my purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. And I could get into some of that too.
Yeah.
But let me finish with this. I was on number 3, right?
Yeah.
Number 4 is once you have the intention, then you make a declaration. And this is what a declaration looks like, right? Before I met my wife, I declared that I would meet the woman that I would marry by the end of that year.
Okay.
I declared it. And I did it. I did it out loud too. I told other people. My boys are like, you crazy.
Exactly.
You crazy. You ain't about to get married. I said, no. By the end of this year, I will meet the woman that I will marry. And I will be engaged to her.
Yeah.
I said that. Now, here's the thing. When you say that, you release something.
Yeah.
Like you release something. There are power in words. We create with words.
The gospel.
Yeah. Yeah, we create with words. And so here's the thing. Somebody might say it's ridiculous, but I challenge you to say it with your mouth and then tell folks.
Can I jump in? And you just said it. It's the gospel. It's critical. The God spoke through what?
Words.
Word. And what's holding us back is that we are declaring that which we claim we desire. So in fact, is repelling our own desires because we speak in words that are limiting. We don't speak in our power and in our full possibility. Yeah. And so that declaration, sisters, let me just say this to sisters, and just move in Linal, and I'll get out the way, I promise. Sisters, no matter even if you don't believe it, I need you to speak it like you believe it. Mm-hmm. I need you to speak it like you believe it, like my husband, my king, my overjoy and happiness is around the corner. And if you say it enough, there's power in your words. So be careful. And if you can't say those words, at least stop saying words that are defeating. They're not a bunch of good men. Exactly. it's tough out here.
Because that's what you're creating.
Exactly. You're creating exactly what you're saying.
That's what you can't run into one because you're creating no good men.
You keep saying it over and over and over. You will rarely hear Ernest Fenton say anything that limits his power.
And I just want to piggyback on what you just said about the 4 steps.
There's one more.
And I know, but I want to say, because you talked about the declaration like it's such an obvious.
No, it's not obvious.
No. Yeah. But it is step 4. Mm-hmm. So all I'm saying is you can declare, but if you've not done 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There are people
by the way,
that's missing some self-love.
There's an order to this.
Yes.
That's why I said 5 things. I started with 1 on purpose, right? 1, self-love. Right? 2, purpose. 3, intention. Like know your conditions of satisfaction. Number 4, make a declaration, a public declaration. Yeah. Right? You can't just be in your room by yourself in the mirror talking about out loud. Tell some folks.
Yes.
And here's how you know you're doing it right. You get scared.
Yes.
You get scared.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Yeah. You feel all types of resistance as you're saying it.
Yeah. You should feel uncomfortable about what you say.
Very. I remember when I declared that I was going to be married, I felt crazy. I got off the phone with my coach and started laughing. What did I just do? And part of my practice was to go tell my best friends. And I'm calling them up like, bro, I'm gonna be married by the end of this year and engaged. And they're like, no, you're not. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And then I started taking actions aligned with my declaration. Yeah. So what that meant is I had to cut some folks off. Yeah. I had to be alone.
Yeah. Hey, Leslie said it. Leslie said something very powerful that aligns with what Linal just said. It was powerful. We can't miss this point. Leslie said that, see, your relationship that you create is not just created between you and your spouse. That relationship happens way before you meet your spouse. See, because you're in relationship with your friends. Mm-hmm. You're in relationship with how you interact with your coworkers. Mm-hmm. You're in relationship with what you watch on TV. See, you can't meet him if you're watching garbage on TV.
It's an input.
You can't meet him. You can't meet him if you're out all night acting a fool, breaking it down, and all shuffling. You can't meet that man. And we're a contradiction. We do everything that's not healthy for ourselves and our souls. And then we want to meet our soulmate.
Ain't gonna happen. What?
Evidently I have. Yes. And I will buy 10 and pass them out. Thank you.
So Ernest said something real quick before I go to the last one. He said, your inputs. You didn't say inputs, but basically what he was saying is your inputs equal your outputs. So now you're ready to be in relationship, you need to start creating inputs that are going to help you affirm that, which leads to the last one, affirmation. Yeah. So now that I've made this declaration, I affirmed it every day. Yeah. Because there's nothing like forgetting the most important things in your life. And I work with people for a living. And I'll get on the phone with them and say, all right, what are we doing? I don't know. How do you not know? Okay. Or I'll say, how did your practice go? How did your practice? I signed practices. No. Better yet, I forgot. How did you forget? Because it's not top of mind for you. Yeah. And because the reason it's not top of mind for you is because you're not affirming it. Yeah. Everything that matters to me in my life, I affirm it every day. Yeah.
Let me say this, though. Mm-hmm. I think it's different, men and women, and I understand what you're saying, and all those steps ring true, and I'm with you on that. Mm-hmm. But when I declare that the man that I'm going to marry, he's looking for me, I'm not looking for him, and I'm not anxious about that at all.
Got it.
So when you say that you're supposed to be nervous and you're supposed to fear that, I don't fear that. I'm not making a declaration of when this man is going to find me.
I'm saying when you make the declaration, that you can say it right now on the air. That's a heavy declaration. But if you made the declaration that I would be with my husband, I will meet that man by the end of this year, I guarantee you'll feel some resistance. You'll feel a funny kind of way.
No, because
go ahead till I say it.
See, that's the resistance right there. It's
what is it? I just think when he's looking for all this. Let me just tell you.
He is, but you have to.
You have to. I think what I said, you have to welcome them in.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
I get that.
Yes.
This is my difficulty.
You have to prepare.
It's not even difficult for me because I don't. And I think I've said before, I don't do dinner dates and all that. I try not to, and I have recently. So when you all were speaking to nighttime and bringing someone to their home, I don't do any of that. So I'm not a dater. So if I'm going to meet somebody, we probably meet at lunch or something like that. But I still believe that when I see this man, or whomever this man is, my husband to be, I always say this, I'm going to know him like the nose on my face.
I believe that.
And I don't think a lot of women say that, but I firmly believe that. I'm resting on that. I'm comfortable with that. I'm happy in the skin that I'm in. But I recognize that a lot of women are not that way. And when you all are speaking about, how you declare, the man has to be ready for marriage, and then he goes and lives with his wife.
But when you declare, Toy, you're declaring it so the man that is ready, that is for you, is all of a sudden drawn to. He shows up by when you said he would show up.
Yes.
But
they show up now. They show up.
But not the one you declared.
Right. Well, when you send it out, all of them come. He had to call Lazarus by name. But
yes, exactly.
Yeah, but I think when you say you'll know him, I think you can say that with certainty. And I agree with the guys. It's spiritual.
Yeah.
We tend to live in the natural, so we're only able to deal with what we see. I think your God-given mate really is a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
To the point where you say that you'll know, but you've got to be functioning in a spiritual way to attract that spirit.
Yes.
Or you're going to attract something else.
Exactly.
And I think, I love what you're saying about the declaration, and I think it's good in theory, but I just want to caution, so many people that are listening, because and I went back and talked about the order.
Yep, the order's important.
See, if you think you have self-love and you don't,
no, yes, chaos.
see, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Because now you're going down here, you're declaring.
Mm-hmm.
So I declared by December 31st. So then John came back. Must be John, because it said by December 31st, and here John is, and it's December 30th. It's John.
Yeah.
Yep. You know who probably can explain self-love very well, because she wrote a book about it? Leslie.
Yeah.
Come on, Leslie.
Spiritual process, and it is a system of the way that you care for yourself. It is a system of the way that you guard your purpose, the way that you guard your spirit, your mind, your soul, your body. It's an application that you apply to yourself every single day of just that love. What Linal was saying about the affirmation and just speaking into your life. It's a lifestyle. Right? It's not this week, so I love myself this week. Yes. Self-love is something that you live out daily. It is like breathing. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people understand that, and it's so important. I think Linal said that it's impossible for someone to come along and love you, and you don't know who you are. You don't know who your purpose is. You're not able to articulate that to anyone. So now you have these two people who are trying to mesh together, and you all have no idea who you are, and that's because you don't have self-love. So it is a commandment. It's scriptural, because God says for us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. So that is the first commandment. We have to love ourselves. Yeah. And we have to apply that system every single day.
And the complexity of dating and relationships beyond 40 is because we have polluted our spirits. There are toxins, if you will, in our relationship space from our experiences. There's a reason why, as a child, you soak up information like a sponge. You're able to learn new languages. You grow. You grow in leaps and bounds, and as you get older, you start slowing down. And the reason you're slowing down is because you have a bunch of sludge. We got a bunch of stories, and Elsie spoke about it in one of our breaks. She said, you know what? Admittedly, you said, I made some mistakes. And so what happens is that, and Lisa spoke about it, what happens is that we are not in relationship with our present and not present. Because we're still living out our past.
But I want to comment.
Yes.
As we talk about the how, that life is the test before the lesson.
Yeah.
That's why you have to go through it, and then you get the answers.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we learn from them. And I talked about mistakes I made or choices I made that were not the best for me or beneficial. But to learn from it and not to come out and carry this toxin or all men are bad, because that's not necessarily the case. That's that situation. And I think it's important, especially if you're over 40, you probably dated before. So there's some key learnings, and there are 3 sides to every story. Yours, his, and the truth.
But you just said it.
But you have to own your role in it, or you're going to repeat it. So, and I'm saying, when I look back at relationships I've been in, and we were talking off camera about being type A personalities, business women, running things all day, you know, and then, you know, being able to make the shift, you know, to come down and not be in that space, to allow a man to have more space, you know, to be a man. And it's not that we want to be that way, it's just how it is. Like, I was with a friend one day, and we were in Atlanta, and I was getting the trash, and he's like, why are you getting the trash out? There's a man here. And I was like, step back to let him do it, which was fine. But here's the thing, the day before when he wasn't present,
you had to take out the trash.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. So
let me say this. We're going to have to take a break right now, and we'll be back. When we come back, we're going to actually take a caller, and then we can come back to Elsie, Leslie, and continue this conversation. So again, WVON, the Talk of Chicago. When we come back, 773-591-1690. We're looking for your call.